event, you can stick them in that comment box below. Janine Jansen's our first guest here this morning. You're looking very glamorous this morning. Tell us about this outfit and why you're wearing it.
Yes, so I work.
Oh, thanks to push your button.
I don't understand.
There you go.
Whoa.
Oh, there you are.
Yes, so I do dancing as well as my dressage, and I also work full-time for the BBC as a presenter. Hence, I should know how to turn the microphone. And I know that you wanted to talk to me a bit about my dancing. And one of the reasons I started dancing is that I love the dresses. And I wanted to say to you how amazing and beautiful they are. And I thought, well, why not wear one? And walking over here from the horse lorry was rather amusing because you could see lots of people going, why? Why is she walking around a dressage event wearing this? But no, it's just, I just love the dresses. So when I first went to watch some people dancing at Blackpool and Bournemouth, the colours and just literally just like agog, like watching like an arena full of the best dressage horses, and you're just like, wow. And with the hairs on the back of your neck, it's the same with the dancing. They're just so incredible and so talented and so many colourful dresses. So I just thought I want to learn to dance.
So what came first? Was it the horses or was it the
horses?
The horses came first.
Yeah, always horses. I used to do eventing, and now I do just dressage because I can't afford the eventing anymore. And because I've got a bit more time, because you know how time-consuming eventing is, I thought I've always wanted to learn to dance. And I love dancing on my own in a disco, crazy dancing. But if you go to a wedding and some bloke wants to twirl you, I'll be the girl twirling the wrong way round. I've got a clue how to partner dance, and I've just always wanted to learn. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I started doing. It's called Sarok. It's like modern jive, sort of rock and rolly type. And I found a dance partner there, and they're like gold dust. That's like having the horse of your lifetime to actually find a man who will actually give it a go with you. And then we did that for a bit, and then about 1.5 years ago, we started to learn proper ballroom and Latin dancing. And we found an ex-world champion to teach us, and we started competing last year. It's really exciting.
And what's your favourite dance to do?
I knew you'd ask me that. Samba in the Latin, I think, and quick step in the ballroom. Yeah. Go on.
Sorry, go on.
So we might do a couple of steps with you later.
Well, you can try. I can try. It'll be like dancing with a fridge. But if you think you can teach me something, absolutely. How do you manage to juggle it all? I mean, obviously you've got a full-time job, you do dressage, you do dancing. How do you juggle all that?
Yeah, it's a full-time job with the BBC, but as a presenter and a journalist, a reporter, I'm a video journalist, so I film and edit my own stuff. But I work shift work, which is really good. So sometimes you start at 5 in the morning and I do the early shift, finish at 1 o'clock. So that means I've got all afternoon and evening. And then sometimes it's the reverse. So you start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so you've got all morning to ride the horse and do your training with the dancing. So it works really well for me.
And what level are you riding at the moment? What's your...
I'm doing PSG silver and Inter 1 silver, so today I'm PSG.
Okay.
And yeah, but there's some similarities with the dancing, because you have to have a partnership with your dance partner, like you have to with the horse.
Yeah.
But I have to say it's probably easier with the horse, because they don't answer back.
Okay.
So Sheldon's my dance partner, he answers back. But what's very good about ballroom is that you look left when you dance. So if we've had a row or anything, I just look left and just don't look at him, and he looks left, and we just dance the whole way around the room, not talking and not looking at each other, which works quite well.
You have to remember when you're coming down the centre line not to do that, though.
Yes.
You'll look very strange.
Look very straight. And it's really fun, obviously, having been in horses all my life. I used to do eventing up to what is now 4-star level. It was 3-star when I did it, but they've changed it. To get into a whole new sport when you're 50, and I must add that if anyone who's 50, say, learns to horse ride, you do have to realise that they're not going to be very good.
Okay.
That's what my dancing is like. So if you imagine someone at 50 learning to ride, they probably go to a riding school and they win a prelim and they're delighted, and maybe the horse isn't even on the bit. That's my level in the dancing.
Right, okay.
Because I only started when I was about 50. But it's a massive learning curve, and I love it. And you just find out all the tricks of the trade, all the tan you have to wear. You have stones that you stick in your hair. You sort of glue your hair into little twirly-whirly bits and glue it on. And the longer you do it, the more tricks you learn. I think the first time I went to do a dance competition, you have to slick all your hair right back and do it in a bun. And I was crying because it just looked so awful. And you want to look nice.
Yeah.
And I got there and I asked someone else, and I said, how long did it take for you to do your hair? And she said 4 hours.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm like, I'm not spending 4 hours doing my hair. But it was amazing, yeah. And then all the loos at the end of the day are brown, because there's so much fake tan. The women's loos are all brown. It must be horrendous for the people who clean the toilets.
Do you have to ever sort of scrape it off before you go back to work?
No, I just...
You just look very glam on cam.
Yeah, but it was really funny at Bicton at our regionals. You have to sort of build the tan up over several days to build up the colour. And I did the Bicton regionals. And while I was tacking up, it was literally chucking it down with rain. And I suddenly thought, what happens if I get wet and then this fake tan is going to come through my
Through
white
your white
breeches?
breeches.
It's going to look awful. So I was more worried about that. So riding around, thank God it didn't rain while I rode, because I was literally more worried about getting soaking wet and having brown choppers than I was doing the test. So yeah.
And so tell us about the horse you've got here.
Yes, that's Spitfire. He's owned by Jan Roberts, who should be here shortly. She bought him off Alice Petenelle, who bred him. He's by surprise Alice Petenelle's ex-stallion, late stallion, out of a jazz mare. So Jan had him, but then she got pregnant and gave me the ride, so I brought him up through the levels. He's a big, black, elegant horse. And yeah, it's our first time at the Nationals on him. I've been here before on another horse, but it's the only one I've got, so he's on loan. I keep him at livery. So he's important to me, and he's a real trier.
And what's your thoughts about the event, like the facilities, and what's it been like so far?
It's very good now it's stopped raining.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
the
really
weather's
good.
a bit better.
It's really smart here. Yeah, the arenas are lovely, and the main arena's amazing, and it's really good fun here. And the stables are great. It's well laid out.
And do you ever get nervous still? Or
Yes, more focused, I think. But yeah, obviously you get nervous when you read the news. All of it's about presenting a positive, fake it till you make it picture. So fake it till you make it on the news, and the dancing's the same. Like when we first went competing, they'd just got so much attitude, the dancers, and they walk out there and they own the floor, and they're like, you've got to do it, you've got to do it. And the same thing with the horse, I think. You go around the same thing, they're still looking at you on the dance floor when you walk out, how you present yourself, and just when you trot around the arena before your test, they're still looking at you, presenting yourself in a confident way. So it's all kind of relevant, really.
And how are you feeling about your test today? Is there any kind of party tricks that your horse is particularly good at, or?
Yeah, he's pretty good at all of them, does them all fairly well.
Okay.
So we're not like super expressive, but if we do it accurately and try and squeeze the marks out of the judges and do the best we can. He's not a super huge moving expressive horse, but he does everything and really tries.
And what's your plans for the future with him? Do you think he can go up to Grand Prix? Is that
Not
the plan?
sure, not sure. He's got the suppleness for that, so I might just keep him into one level. He's happy at that level, I think, maybe. But we'll see. We'll do a little bit and see how he goes.
And just going way back in time, or not too far back in time, I don't want to age you, but how did it all start for you? Like, did you ride ponies, or when did you start in dressage?
Yeah, we used to ride ponies, rode before I could walk, very lucky, had pony club ponies, and then did the eventing. So at 16 I started eventing, and I worked at my dad's yard, and we used to bring on dressage and event horses, and then I decided that I couldn't have enough money, so I went back and did A-levels when I was 22, working as waitress in a cocktail bar. And then at 24 I got into Cambridge University and did English and French there. And then I came out thinking, this is it. And then it's like, oh, actually, it won't get you a job, English and French. So I then went and did the broadcast diploma at Portsmouth, and then immediately got into the BBC then. I've been there 25 years. Crazy.
Well, it's a nice link to 25 years because BD's celebrating 25 years. So it's almost like this is planned. What's your kind of best memories of riding over the last 25 years?
With the eventing, going to Le Lion with my young horse, the 7-year-old. Yeah, again, because they have to have their eyes on all the top riders. And a friend said to me, you've got a really good 7-year-old. The 3-year-olds, the 6-year-olds, they only take 3 of them. But the 7-year-olds, they take 12.
Okay.
So they said, you tell them what the horse has done. You remind them. You send them an email and say, my horse has done it, because they're probably not even looking at you. And sure enough, I did. And I said, my horse has qualified. It's got the results. And so we went. And I came 3rd best out of the 12 riders that went to Le Lion, which was amazing. That's the World Young Horse Breeding 2-star, which it was then 3-star now. So that was great. I did Ramham on my advanced horse. So I had 2 intermediates and an advanced horse, which was crazy busy when you're working full-time as well in your own yard at home. So even though I do the dance, I like to be busy and I like to take every opportunity. I think you're a long time dead. So that's why we do the dancing as well as the working and the horses.
And what about dressage over the last 25 years? When did you transition to dressage, and what's been the kind of big standout moment?
I've always loved the dressage, but could never properly give the eventing up until it came to the time that I didn't have the horses, and then I transitioned. I won the elementary restricted on my Velocity, my really smart dressage event horse, my advanced event horse back in the day at Stoneleigh. So that was really nice. My first time at the Nationals, and we won it. So it's nice to come to your first one and win it. You don't realise how rare that is. Yeah. And then you come again, and it's like, well, it's not as easy as that. Yeah. So that was probably my standout moment on that horse. And Spitfire's just been really consistent all the way through, and the judges seem to like him. He's long-legged and elegant.
And from your broadcast knowledge, I mean, do you think more people are kind of looking at dressage since maybe London, or is there anything we could do differently to get the public to watch more dressage?
Maybe have different colours. Maybe like this.
Exactly.
maybe
This could
get
be
them
the new
wearing a
outfit.
dress and brighten. I mean, everyone's looking at me, so maybe that's what we should do. Yeah, dress the music obviously is great, but maybe colours. I think brighten it up a little bit.
Make it
'Cause
a bit more
everyone-
blingy.
Yeah, and then you kind of recognise someone a bit more. That's the one in the red top, and that's the one in the pink, or whatever. And then you might recognise them more. But yeah, I think so. But we're doing amazingly well at the dressage, obviously, at the moment. So I'm not doing much wrong.
No, exactly,
Winning all the
exactly.
championships.
And when you're coming down the centre line today, will we see any bling? Is there any kind of the ballroom stuff that's moved on?
Not as much.
Not
no,
as much,
No,
okay.
not as much. Yeah, well, like with this, it's a bit like horses. With eventing, you wear like a tweed jacket, don't you, before you get to intermediate, and when you move up, you wear your solid navy or black. It's the same with this. So when I was beginners and novice, which we just moved out of, you're not allowed any bling. Can't have too much bling in your hair, not too much tan. And now we've moved up to intermediate this year. Just you can have as much bling as you like.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm always keen not to overdo it.
Sure.
All the gear and no idea. So I'm a bit like that with the horses. Just tone it down a bit.
Kind of keep it
rather get
subtle.
the results.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
go for the big stuff later. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. Thanks very much for coming to join us. And I think you're going to hopefully teach me a couple of moves once we get off this stage, because if we stand up, we won't be seen, and that'll be pointless.
Oh, so your little waltz, shall we?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But it will be on social media. It will be like dancing with a fridge. I am pretty awful. But yeah, if you want to see that, keep an eye on the British Dressage social media. We've got more guests coming up in the fan zone today. Thank you so much again for coming along. And yes, stay with us throughout the 4 days. Another 2 days to come after today. So make sure you join us once again here in the fan zone.